All right, hello. I'm back. I'm here. It is recording. Sorry about that. Um, Welcome back. And sorry for the delay. I had a little bit of a like for some reason it wasn't coming to me. Like, what do I need to lecture on? And usually I record these fairly early, and it was just stalled. And then finally Sunday it came to me, uh, and I was like, oh, that's what I got to do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of develop a brochure of my own. I'm going to go off the cuff, which I don't say that you got what I want you at all to do. But what I want to show you is my biggest thing that I'm going to complain about, what everybody does, is going to be with margining and images and type and folds and type and images and folds. Like all that stuff has to come together. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to just spend a little bit of time, maybe about 30 minutes, and I'll continue this then for the next lecture, is like just developing it and showing you like tricks, weird stuff you can do to make sure you are giving yourself enough margin throughout the entire design. That white space that makes things legible. So we're not like, oh, I want a color bar, and then it's like, boom, I have type right on top of the color bar, or I have an image and the type touches the image. Like this is all the stuff that we're trying to get away from. We don't want to do anymore. And so that's what I'm gonna kind of do. So I'm doing Paul Rand, and let's jump in. So I'm starting this kind of like from the very beginning. Like I was even gonna do this, but I'm just gonna kind of show you the way I go about it. Pretend I have a layout in the background. I feel bad. I don't have a layout. I do not have a layout, but I wish I had a layout. What I'm going to start with is I brought in my text. I have 800 words pre-written text. You know, I scoured it from many sites. So all I did was I copied and I pasted it into a area text box. The area one is the one where you drag and create a text box. Point is the one where you just tap. You have to remember which one to use where. I happen to be working in Illustrator today. All this is between Illustrator and InDesign. It doesn't matter which program, but actually maybe for the next one, I will do it in InDesign just to show you the differences. So first thing I'm going to do is I just have my text box, but I'm just going to do some generalizations right away. All right. So I'm going to scroll down and go to paragraph. Let's check out paragraph, and hyphens off. All right. I saw that. So hyphenate is off. That's good. And I'm going to go down to 8-point type. Don't be nervous. I think everybody should just start off at 8-point type. Make it bigger if you need to. 8-point type. And because it is Paul Rand, I'm going to do Helvetica. I just happen to have Helvetica. And I want this Helvetica, this new LTS, because I have a boatload of versions of it here at my house, unlike I do at school. And I'm going to do Roman. And there we are. So this now, when I copy and paste over, I have my fonts already preset. I don't have to dink around. And I'm going to paste it over. Now the images, I found 12 images. And again, I'm working off the artboard. Why not? So I'm going to go to place. And then look, I made sure I'm on that, my images layer. And now I'm going to place. And I got 12. So I'm just going to click 12 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now I see a dinker in there, which is totally fine. I'm going to pull that one out and I'm going to move it up to the top so I can grab these corners, and I'm going to scale these up. All right. So here it should scale to the top corner. Sometimes it does it right. Sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to click on scale, and I'm just going to put in 25. It's what I normally do. Then I'm back out, and it did it to the wrong corner. Then I don't even know why I tell it to go to a corner. It doesn't listen to me. But all I need to do is get them small. You know, I want them all about the same size. They don't all have to be perfectly the same size, but I want to start working in the same size. Now, if I'm a scale by hand, holding down shift, For the love of Pete, hold down shift. Your hand should always be on your keyboard. I don't know what your other hand is doing, but if it ain't on the keyboard, holding down shift all the time, something's wrong. Here's the weird part. I got the camera. I'm at my house, and I put the camera in front of my screen, and I can't see my screen. I moved my mic over. It's part of my camera. I'm cheapo. I'm a cheap guy. All right, so we're just getting those smaller, and I think I'm fine with this size right now. Maybe I just want them a little bit smaller, and then this one just a little bit bigger. So those are 12 images, and I don't have to populate all 12, but I'll just work on one page. Now, you may be like, oh, I want to add some detail, some stuff. So let's add some background stuff just so I have that as an example as well. And I'll just call it like background. And for shits and giggles, I'll put in like a bar, like a black bar at the bottom. Now, I hope you noticed, I made my black bar and I went all the way to the bleed, right? All the way to the bleed. Anything that touches the edge of the artboard actually needs to go all the way to that red bleed so it prints right. I hope we always remember that. Please, for the love of God, please remember that. So let's go. I'm going to do 2 images per panel, and I'm just going to grab right now, and I'm going to move them in. Again, I wish I would have like done something, but I'm going to do like I want Paul Rand. So as you can see, even just roughly placing stuff in, I'm using the margin as a point of reference. I never want my stuff to go beyond the margin. Like, why even start? Don't even start giving yourself that placement. I didn't open libraries. So let's get 2 more, these 2. Did I double up? Oh, that's the one. I noticed this after I grabbed these. The poster is used twice. All right. So now looking at this and say, I'm going to now look at my copy and pull it down. And let's make it wider so I can see all my copy. All right. It's a nice set of paragraphs. So I have the 4 insides, and then I can have these 2 as well. If I have a cover and a back cover, but let's just roll in. I'm doing the middle 4. So I'm going to do the middle 4, and so the middle 4 will be everything. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to leave like maybe these last 2 paragraphs and try to get all this copy in. So I'm just going to, again, make some text boxes. And I'm going to my margin. And I'm going to grab this text and I cut it. And I'm going to double click in here. I'm going to select all, delete, and paste. And there I know I removed it completely from that area. And I'm just going to go through and do all 4 sections. Right now, I'm just placing the copy in. I'm going to cut it so I remember that I use it. I'm going to select all, delete, paste. Remember, watch down here if you're wondering what I'm doing with my keyboard and why I'm not moving around. Down there at the bottom of the screen, it shows some of the key commands I'm using to make my life easier and make my design easier. I'm not running around the screen. Sorry, just pouring some tea. I'm not running around that screen everywhere. And then do another one. Wow, that was just a mistake. I turned around and then grabbed the wrong box. So here we go. And again, I'm not going past the margin. So I'm going to cut. I'm going to select all. I'm going to delete. I'm going to paste, and then I'll do one more. I'm going to grab these last two paragraphs for this one. I'm going to cut. I'm going to select all, paste, and be done. All right. So now you can start to look at like, how do I want my images? How do I want everything to be? Now, the big one I feel like we all get into is like, it needs to be huge. It needs to be huge. It doesn't have to be huge. Nothing has to be huge. So I'm going to unlock both my images and my body copy are unlocked. Now, this is where I'm always going to be like, shift is on. If I want these images small, you know, like shift is on. And maybe like my first inkling is I want the same respect for every image. So do I can go by width or I could go by height. So if I go by width, they each get half of the real estate. But then I also don't want them touching. So something to think about. If I have two images, I'm going to get it off the margin. So I have two images. How is the tension if they're touching versus if they're overlapping? If they're overlapping, I can make them both a little bit bigger, but I watch what I'm overlapping. So right here, I see all that stuff that's going on. I'm checking that as comparative, like what's blocking this. I could flip-flop, but if I flip-flopped, maybe it's better to do this. Look how much I can get overlapped here. We're not missing out on anything, right? With the red that I'm covering, I'm not covering anything important about the image, and it can kind of fit into this perfect little area here. So then I could make this by holding shift and selecting those two. What if I drag those up to the margin? And again, absolutely never going past that margin. How does that look? That may work. And then I can start working with my text. Again, my text box is within the margin. And if I pull this down, that's that one paragraph. And that's at 8 point. I have plenty of room to work. So I can make it bigger. And now I can maybe say like, oh, for this, maybe how much room do I have? And I'm going to take this text and if I make both these images bigger, what if I go up to 9 point on the text? I'm going to do something new. I think I found out I always have to have layers. I need layers and properties side by side when I work. And it's a new thing I'm discovering. I don't like the way it pushes my artboard to the left. I almost wish I could put a layer, like layers on one side. Can you do that? Oh, look at that. Maybe I'll start to work like this. Because then I go to one side and one side. And then I know my tools. Let's try this setup. Because then all of my properties are exposed here. My layers are over here. It's not doubled up and I have everything centered on my screen. All right, so, you know, always discovering, always looking for new ways to make it work better, to work faster, to work more cleanly. And there we have this. So I'm going to zoom in. Look at this a little bit. I have hyphens off. There's a lot of M dashes. So there's a joke. I was listening to a podcast about design, and they're talking about AI, and I had AI generate my copy for this. And I use AI to generate copy, but usually I write it. Like I'll do an assignment and I'll write it, and I'm like, make this sound better. So it's just taking my words and rewriting it. Here I just was like, I need 800 words on Paul Rand for this. And the joke was on the site was like they add in M dashes, like tons of these M dashes, and now I'm seeing it. Like this is really kind of annoying. I have a widow, so all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up to powerful, and I'm gonna hit shift and return, shift and then return, and that is a what we call a soft return. I need to break up problem solving, but I need to break it up correctly. So it will be a dash, but it's not it's a hyphen in the different sense of the word. And what I'm personally doing is going through and making the ragged edge my own ragged edge. I do this all the time. Like I look at this and I'm going through and like, what can I do to make it look better? Here it is. Now I could also then go up to like 9 point something on the size, but let's do that first paragraph. So like nice and easy. Oh, I can make the images bigger now. So we'll do shift, shift. Make sure I'm gonna move this up. Shift, make them bigger. Move it up, move it in, move this down. Okay, now I'm gonna move this down. Here's one thing to watch for. If you need to, this is something I used to do back in the day for some other problems, but I use it with graphic design as well. I will make a circle. And I'm going to make the circle a certain size. And I'm going to make it like something crazy. Stroke nothing. Oh, no, I want my fill to be pink. All right. This is my circle. Nothing gets closer than the circle. Meaning this circle, when I do stuff, give me that. There's a circle gap here. I need a circle gap here. So in essence, then I should reduce the size of this image. So I have a circle gap. I have a circle gap. I have a circle gap. And I know everything on that page is perfect. Now I can take this and I'm gonna typeset in a different way. Now I have all this typeset, so I just copied that typesetting here. Now I want to go around an image, and we've talked about this in the past. So I'm going to have these down, and I'm going to start up in this. We're going to pull this down, and we'll start up there, and let's just say I want to go around the images. It's really not that much copy, but just for entertainment purposes, I'm actually going to match the height. Remember, my hand is always holding down shift, doing stuff, making sure. This is one image here because it's pure white on a pure white background right now, to which I am going to add the world's tiniest stroke, 0.25. Oh, the stroke's not showing up. All right, I'll come back to that. All right, so again, I have my circle and I want my text to go around this image. So what I'm going to do is create, I'm not going to use that like text go around an image. I don't think it works well. That's where the artistry comes in. You can use the computer and be like, oh, the computer will just do it for me and do it really shitty. Or you can do it yourself and get it really nice. Now this is because I have this picture here. It's not letting me. And I want that. These have to be perfectly straight as well. If they're a little bit off, your text won't be right. But then we can do this, you know? So if I want it to go around that image, and then I can check. And I go, well, here's my pink dot. So I need to bring it down. And I need my pink dot on this side. So I'm going to take that pink dot. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to shift it over to the pink dot. And that way I know I have enough room in between these two images. And then I got to reduce the size. You know, like just saying like, I wanted to do this. This is the sizing I wanted. I thought I had that turned off on my machine. I'm very confused at why it's not putting a stroke onto my poster here. Oh, if all else fails, do the better one, which is this. And then I just go object, arrange, send it back. And then I'm going to make that real tiny. And I have to group them. But I just want enough that it pops off the background. But now we can move on with our text. And because of what I did, I can move my little ball here and know that gap, that my text never comes closer than my prescribed amount. All right. See how that's working? And if I go any bigger with the text, it's going to start to look goofy. You know, like this is already one word. We have plenty of room to play with. If I step over these two, I can go and I can double, you know, because I want consistency in the size of my text across these pages. Let's do well, that's a flip-flop. Let's do, I don't want to do middle. Middle's boring. How much text is here? Let's do a double. Let's go weird. Meaning I'll cut around one and then the other. So I want this. Maybe like that. Anyway, so for some reason I'm highlighting this picture. Oh, I'll just do that. Like I'm highlighting this picture. Let's just do that. Again, this is why you never design without like a framework. I don't know what I'm doing here. This is kind of, you know, I really wish I would have had a framework. But I just want to, I'm talking about, you know, like the big thing is like keeping those gaps, these spaces in between things that should always be equal. So I'll do the same thing up here. Is I'm gonna make sure. And if you ever like, when you're like working on stuff and you're worried like if you have the snap on and the snap is like the more you zoom in, the gentler the snap gets. But you're in control of it. Like, don't be like, oh, I kept trying in the snap. Well, you could just turn the snap off as well. There's lots of times I turn the snap off. So you can do that as well. But again, I'm going to do this. I'm getting that pink dot, you know, like what's my distance? Whoa, I guess that. Perfect. You know, like that's enough. So my pink dot says, no matter what, if I had a word, it would never get closer, even though none of these do. I don't want it to. You know, the more distance, the better. And then now I got the text running into this image, which is fine. Checking my distances. This can be smaller, so I'll hit. I'm holding down Shift and Alt. That's why it's going a little bit crazy. Shift and Alt. And I want to make sure. Oh, so you know what? All you have to do, make another one. You have these dots all over the place. To make sure that your margins are good. You know what I mean? This isn't going to win any awards in any sort of the means, but I want you to just kind of look and make sure that you're leaving these gaps. You're leaving spaces in between. You're not having your text go touching an image. Like your text should never touch images. Your text should never touch the middle. Like that's why we margined each one of these. There's going to be a fold here. You don't want things going over the fold. Now, we could do that. Maybe that's a good way to do this. I'll do one more. I'm going to erase some of this stuff, and I'm going to do a, how should I do it? Well, no, I still wouldn't have it go over the fold. I'm like trying to think of like if I broke these up and like, oh, I forgot to group that. All right, so I'm going to drag this here. I'm just making a margin, so I know like to bring this down. And if I wanted this, I'd have to reduce the size of the font there, which is fine. But look, even if I do this, same rules apply. And I can just make this text smaller. It's at 9. Well, I can go to 8. But now, here's another one. Here's another great one. You can tell the difference in the size between 8 and 9. But then sometimes I go like, I start doing like 8.5. Where does that bring it? Okay, so it's too big. So what if I decide that these images should be the same height? So now I'm going to do this reversal design. And I'm going to grab this image. I'm going to do the same thing I did, that Shift Alt. I'm going to bring it down. And I want these images to be the same height. Okay, same height. Pink dot, pink dot. Look. And I'm like, oh, it's off by just a tad. Oh, let's do this. Let's rabbit wrap. So this is why I like doing the text with my own adjusted text boxes, is I can now come up to the dot and I can add around, right? All I need to do is add a point, pull this out, bring this one down. And there we go. Though I think I lost my pink dot up here. Oh, because I moved it down? Oh, here. There we go. And then now I can go up in size. Oh, I see what's happening. I need to, when I move it, I need to move the lines of it. And then I can go and check my font size. And what if I go to like 8.6? 7.5. Okay, it's coming down, but it's not, I still have this gap. So see, oops. I still have my gap no matter what, because it is built in specifically for me and not the computer saying like, oh, I can fit this word in. I'm gonna fit this word in. So now, what if I go to 9? It's too much. So I'm gonna go to 8.9. Look at that. 8.9 works. It's 1/10 of a size difference in font from here to here. Nobody will ever notice that difference, and now it fills the space. And that's the kind of stuff you can do. Like, there's no discern between this, this, and this. This is 8.9. And again, when I'm doing this, I'm always keeping things at 100% scale. I'm not squishing, squashing. I'm using area type. I'm not using point type. All that kind of stuff. So make sure when you're working, you're looking at all this. This is the artistry. This is the hand touch. This is what people, quote unquote, pay for. It's for you to look and be like, oh, I'm gonna make this. This should look like this. This should look like this. Otherwise, you can just have a computer do it, and you can go work at McDonald's because a computer, might have just like, why hire you when I can hire a computer just for average? So, oh, and look, this line is almost perfect. Ah, I love that. Okay, because of this, I'm gonna pull this line, and then I'm gonna look at that, and I'm gonna increase my leading by, let's see, 10.7. What? Why didn't you like that? 0.8. And again, so this is, ooh, 7.5. And now I'm gonna go to the 7.6. I have to leave it at 7.6. But it still works. So I'm just kind of like getting that. Now these are almost lined up. Then this one, I could reduce. Let's see if I reduce it. 0.7. I'm gonna hate it when I do that. 0.75. There you go. Now they start and they end exactly at the same line. Brilliant. So again, play around. I'll continue with this. I'll do a version of this in InDesign for the next one. But like, again, watch everything, watch your margins, where things land, how you want them set up, make sure there's enough gap everywhere. All that stuff. Let's do presentation mode. I'll do that. I'll do an export for you. Before I go here, where's escape? Because we're down to the nitty gritty with this course. File, export as PDF. let's see if I have oh, that's a press. I don't have one set up for myself. But now you can see when it's in this layout, it's actually, I'm happy with this. Like the way it looks so nice and clean. It's oddly, except for, I should almost leave in those pink dots. I kind of like them. But everything, there's enough space between everything. I know where the folds are. Everything's gonna run off good. So in the end, so also do that for yourself. When you're working, save a PDF real quick. Look at your PDF. Look at it clean like this. I know you can do that in InDesign really easily, but just check it out and be like, oh, this looks great. This doesn't look great. And work with it. So there you go. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. You know, anything I can help you with. Come on in. You know, I always say that. We only have 2 weeks left, but even when this course is over, you can come on in. I'm around Tuesdays and Thursdays. So cool. Let's do just a quick look over. We are in 7. Checklist, mid-session project review. Again, 2 of these, your work in progress, and a quick quiz. Keep your minds going about graphic design terms so we can sound as intelligent as we are. We can use design terms when we talk to other people and have them be like, I don't know what they're talking about, but they must be smart. They're using words, tracking, kerning, what? Letting, what the heck are they talking about? So cool. Again, let me know what's going on. Let me know what you need. Take care, and I will talk to you shortly. I think I recorded a video in 2 days. So, and then we're coming up. I don't record a second video for final designs because then it's just out, but I just need to talk about your final chapter book. So that's coming up. All right, take care. Thank you and goodbye.